Welcome, everybody, to Generation Viewpoint. My name is Evan, and this is Freedom.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
And Dad.
Yes?
We have a special guest with us.
I'm excited about special guests. I happen to love special guests.
Yes.
Yes.
And you don't know much about the special guest. You met her once when
Yes.
you picked me up from the camp I worked at the past summer.
Okay.
Her name is Zoe Baxter. Say hi, Zoe.
Hey.
Zoe!
And Zoe and I were pretty good friends. She wouldn't talk to me for the first few weeks when I was at camp.
Was that, wait, first, before we go any further than that,
Okay.
before somebody makes a judgment on poor, sweet Zoe, who I don't even know.
Yeah.
Zoe, was that because he was being rude and was like pulling himself apart from everybody, or was that because you just didn't want to say hi to him?
It was definitely my part.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
I don't know. I was scared.
You were scared of him?
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I've never heard anybody be intimidated or scared of you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Zoe, you just made my day. This is the best podcast ever.
So we're pretty good friends, and the last week at camp we worked together and got super close, and we've been talking ever since. And for people that are young and use Snapchat, her and I are so close, we have a 59-day streak. So
Yep.
Ooh.
Generation divide. I have no idea what that means.
So that just shows how much we talk.
That's pretty cool, man.
So-
Awesome. Very cool. So Zoe, you're in high school or college?
I'm a senior in high school.
A senior in high school. Very exciting.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
do you know what you're planning on doing after you graduate high school this year?
So I know I'm going to college at the University of Michigan Flint. I have no clue what I want to study though.
Oh no. What are the
Yeah.
do you have 3 or 4 interests that you're interested in that you're thinking about?
Yeah. So I thought about taking the road in the medical field. Some aspects probably nursing, and then the second thing I thought about is public relations degree, or public communication or whatnot, something like that.
Oh, very cool. All right.
Yeah.
So Evan, am I allowed to test Zoe's problem solving skills right here at the front end of an episode?
Yeah.
Zoe, are you're not scared to
Oh
fight?
no.
I want to challenge your creative problem solving. Okay, so when you go to get a job at Google or anything like that, they give you these really weird questions. Okay, all right. So I don't know if you heard our episode this past week, but we have friends, the Deitzers, who are going on a 4-month hike on the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they had to get down to Georgia. It was and it was this week they started, and they had to get to the trailhead, right where the trail started. Okay, but they didn't have anybody to drive them all the way to Georgia and drop them off.
Oh geez.
All right, so the question that I have for you in your creative problem solving is, if that were you, and you and somebody had all your camping and hiking gear, and you needed to get to the end of the trailhead in Georgia, but have nobody to take you there, how would you get there?
Oh. A bike?
A bike?
A bike.
From Michigan, you're going to ride a bike?
No. I would spend money on a plane ticket.
Okay. And that would get you to Atlanta, let's say.
Closer, yeah.
Okay.
But you also have to remember that you're carrying bags and bags of stuff.
Not too much though, because you mail a lot of your food. So you
That's true.
do have stuff. All right. So you get to Atlanta, then what do you do?
So you have nobody you can call that would help you out.
Right.
You're on your own.
That's it. You're on your own. Nobody's there.
Wow.
So you could rent a car, right? But
Yeah, but where would you leave it?
that's what I'm saying. So here's what
Oh
we're.
my goodness.
That's right. Isn't that? So we were telling them, when you figure this out, you got to write this in your blog because people who want to hike the trail, they don't know how to do it either. Right? So here's our thoughts. The 2 scenarios that I can think of is, one, you go and you take your gear and you go to a local car dealership right from the airport and you ask to test drive a car and you want to see how the trunk space can handle gear. And then you go for a drive, and when you get to the trailhead, you get out and say, thank you. And they get upset, and you're like, hey, so what are you going to do? Make me get back in the car and ride back with you? Or the other one, you could...
I feel like that's a scam. Like, you're scamming the car dealer.
Well, the other one is you could always call like Enterprise, rent a car, and then just drop it off and call them and go, hey, your car is here. And they're like, no, you got to bring it back to us. You'd be like, you can find me on the trail if you need me, but the car is like not coming back. And what are they going to do? Not come get the car?
Well, there's like this app that people use. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, like Uber.
You can just yeah. You can just get a ride somewhere.
I have to say, Zoe, you just had the best idea I've heard yet.
You just beat the system.
You just beat the system. You're hired if I was hiring. That's awesome. So, all right. So talking about being smart, right, and coming up with good solutions, here's a question that I have for you. And gym class in high school.
Yeah.
Is it really a necessary class, and does it make us better in our studies?
Okay, I could go both ways, I feel like.
Okay.
No, because it's kind of just if you need that, you don't necessarily need that in class. Like, you can take the time out of class to do it, or if you don't want to do it at all, it's your own choice.
Uh-huh.
But then I think it's good because you're forced to be on teams. We just got done with a basketball unit.
Okay.
And we had to play 3-on-3 tournaments.
Oh, neat.
And the teacher put us on the teams.
Okay.
So you're kind of forced to be a teammate and work with people maybe that you haven't talked to before.
That is.
I don't know how much we can trust Zoe though, because every time she has gym, she Snapchats me and says, "I'm skipping gym." So I don't know how much we can trust her right now.
Oh man, called out hard. I love it. That's awesome. Totally skipping gym class. I don't know. Ev, do you think gym class is helpful in your education?
For me, it was because I get antsy. So if I don't have a cutout time to run around and get rid of energy, then I'm not going to be able to sit still.
I have compared you to a golden retriever before, that you need to run several miles before you can sit for 5 minutes.
Yes.
You do have a lot of energy. So it is true.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, we actually had a unit on square dancing.
Ooh.
Yeah, ooh is right. Ooh was no good. And everybody dreaded it because you had to, you got a partner that you had to be with. And it was always the most awkward partner that you can even imagine. Somehow it always worked out that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Would you rather square dance or have to do yoga?
Oh.
Because we're forced to do yoga.
I would rather do yoga.
Really?
Yes. We were watching
I
a
would
movie.
rather do yoga.
You would do yoga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't do yoga because I am so not flexible that, it was just embarrassing. So I'd rather make a fool of myself dancing, because I'd make a fool of myself dancing whenever I dance.
Yeah.
So it would be nothing different. So I'd probably choose square dancing over yoga. We had a performance once a month at our church. We have a performance for young kids, and in part of one of the skits, they did yoga, and they did the downward dog. But then the grandpa was down, and he's like, "Can we do the upward grandpa?" And they're like, "What does that mean?" They're like, "When you help me get up." I loved it. It made me laugh so hard. So very good. So let me ask you another question, Zoe. I got lots of questions. If you listen to our podcast, you know.
Yeah.
So when you were applying for college, okay?
Yeah.
Should admissions at colleges be using different criteria than SAT scores and grades from your high school these days? Have things changed where they really need to be scoring things differently than they have for the last 50 years?
Oh, I don't know. I think that those things should be included, but I don't think they should be the top priority, if that makes sense.
What do you think should be?
Their ability, their want to do it.
Their desire.
The initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Their desire to I know if I get help, I can make it through, or if they're paying for it themselves, I think they value it a little bit more, so they'll keep going. or I don't
Yeah.
know.
I like
I think
that.
that's important.
I like that. That's a really good answer because I've always said that, the hunger, somebody who's hungry is always going to win over somebody who's educated and not hungry.
Yeah, like they're not just, they're going to want to do it and keep going.
Yeah. I've told Evan, you remember this conversation before, Ev?
Yeah.
I've told him before that he is at a disadvantage because he's never had to worry about what's for dinner tonight or whether if he has a pair of shoes. And so people who've been raised and grown up in that way will eat his lunch all day long because they're hungry.
Yeah.
And they'll do anything to get that job. And that's what you're up against when you go out into the workplace right now is you lose sight that not everybody's not like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll do anything. I grew up a little rougher, and I was hungry. I mean, I'd do anything to get a job, and I'll eat your lunch all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little different, for me. So I was thinking about starving Evan and taking away his clothes to make him get hungry.
Maybe that'll send him off to college.
No.
Maybe, I don't know. So awesome. Ev, do you have a question? I have another question. I mean, I have an eternal flow of questions. Or do you have something in here?
You can go for it.
All right. Here we go. Zoe, how many siblings do you have?
I have an older sister and a younger brother, so I'm a middle child.
Your younger brother, and you are what, 18, 17?
Yeah, I'm about to be 18 in May.
Okay, and how old is your younger brother?
He turned 16 today.
16. Hey, happy birthday, Zoe's brother.
Max, right?
Yep.
Happy birthday, Max.
Hey, shout out to Max. GV Point. We don't have any kind of hand signal for GV Point, or else I'd throw it right now.
GV Point.
So, all right, so here's the question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Do parents have different hopes and standards for their sons versus their daughters?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
That was pretty quick.
All right, we're digging into this one because that one came out. All right. So, what is your? I want to hear what you have to say on that. What's your observation?
The dating aspect.
Okay.
As far as like for me and my sister, when it comes to dating, my dad's always been like very, protective, and like he doesn't like that we talk to guys or that we want to date someone. Or, he's just like that.
Evan, her
But
dad
if
hates you.
Yeah.
But when we talk about like Max and him wanting to date someone,
Yeah.
he's more like laid back or encouraging type thing.
Isn't that interesting?
See, you do the same thing.
Do I though?
You and mom baby Annika most of the time.
We baby her.
Yes.
Okay, explain that. What do you mean we baby her?
You give her a lot more than you gave me and Bryce and Zach.
Name one thing.
Okay. I had to practice a lot of driving before you guys considered letting me go
Yeah.
get my test, but Annika hasn't.
She's been practicing for the last 6 months.
Whenever the roads were a little wet, even if it wasn't raining anymore, she's like, "Oh, I don't want to drive," and you're like, "Oh, okay." But for me, you were like, "Get in the car. You're driving us home."
Okay. All right, name another thing, because I'm getting defensive now. All right? So this is probably, Zoe, if you were to say this to your parents, they would probably get defensive, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about it with Max turning 16 and like his license.
Yeah.
And in our house, we've always done it like when you're 17 or 18, just because it's cheaper on insurance, and
Sure.
they think like we're smarter then.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, but like today we were like, what about driver's ed and all this for Max? And my mom's like, well, you guys didn't take it when you were his. So like they were equaling it out, you know?
Yeah.
That's something that they were equal about.
Right.
But
so what about like when, let's see. So after high school, like you go to college, your brother goes to college, right? Do they envision different futures for you versus him? You know? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
How do they differ?
I don't know. I think they both expect us to like be successful in some way.
Right.
But as far as grades now, like even in high school, they expect more out of him, and I don't know.
Interesting.
What the reason is, but I don't know. They expect him to like be an A, B student, mostly like A's.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he does like play sports too right now, so like maybe that's part of the reason. But they've always been a little bit more strict on him, and if he did get a little lower grade, like, oh, I know you can do better. Whereas me, like, I got a lower grade. They're like, oh, well, you tried as hard as you could, so good job.
So they were babying you, just like Evan is saying I'm doing to his sister.
Yeah, I feel like,
That's amazing. I see. Now, I'm telling you. So every parent out there right now who's listening or watching this right now is getting a little bit defensive because they're like, we do not, like, I don't feel that I baby her. Now, I will tell you this. As far as dating, I'm fine with you were dating and I'm fine with her dating, okay? But as far as, like, if she goes someplace alone with a date, when that time comes, I will be more protective of her than I would be of you. Just like when you took a long drive and you went to Ohio on your own in the car at 17, I would have a hard time letting her drive through the night to go 10 hours away in a car by herself because she is a girl.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, I was going to ask, like, why is that? Like, from a parent to be like, why do you guys do that? Do you feel like?
For me, it's because she is a girl. And I hate to... All right, so we're all created equal, right? We know that for sure. There's no doubt about it. And I don't think man or woman, one is not better than another. No way. If I had to pick one because you forced me to choose one, I would choose that women are better than men. If I had to be forced to choose, but you're not forcing me. Okay. So with that said, though, I would be more fearful of my daughter being stranded on the side of the road at 11 o'clock at night than my son.
Yeah.
And that's why I would be have a different standard. That double standard would apply to my daughter versus my son. Not because I don't think that she's capable, but because I'm worried about what other guys out there might do if they saw that. That's what I would be.
Yeah.
You know,
like the worldly point of view or whatnot.
Yeah. So I think that's real. I mean, for parents, this is a really hard thing to balance, and for your parents, I'm sure it is as well, because they want to show you and your brothers and that everybody is created equal and have the great, capabilities to do so much, but at the same time, we're not the same. And so to be treated exactly the same would be ridiculous to expect. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think, like, I can agree with that. And then there's, some people who are, like, all about the feminist stuff, and they would, like, be kind of angry or whatnot, but, like, I don't see that as a problem. Like, I definitely agree with what you're saying. And I think in the world that we live in, like, it is kind of scary,
Yeah.
Okay, just go ahead and go out there. Like, for girls anyway, there's so much more, like, problems that can happen.
There's more dangers out there. I mean, it's even like my daughter, she works at an ice cream place, and it drives me crazy when she's there till late at night. Like, I want her to have a little jar of pepper mace in there or something, where if Evan was there late at night.
My dad worries about my older sister at work too, because she works out she works at Party City, and he, like, if she closes, he kind of gets worried and, like, text me when you're home or text me when you're done. Well, like,
and I'd be the same way. Like, you're in a store by yourself, or you have to go out back and throw the trash out at the end of the night, and it's behind the place. Like, I want my daughter to carry around pepper mace everywhere she goes. But I also don't want to teach her to learn in fear, and I wouldn't want you to learn in fear either, right? I mean, we could get caught up in that too, which is ridiculous, I guess that's part of having faith that God's taking care of us,
Yeah, definitely.
So, awesome. Well, Zoe, that's a podcast right there. How you like that? Ev, what do you think?
I thought it was filled.
It was filled.
Yes.
There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah.
This was a blast. I love when you bring friends on, Ev. I mean, it's really cool because I don't get to meet your friends because I'm not on Snapchat and I'm not on a 59-day streak with Zoe.
Yeah.
So, and Zoe, did we even get to talk, Zoe, when I met you out in Michigan, or no? I don't think so.
Briefly, I was just interested in meeting you because your name was Freedom.
Yes.
Whenever I mention you, no matter what I tell her, she just goes, Freedom!
Woo-hoo!
That's the first thing she says to me.
I love it. It's awesome.
So-
Very good. And notice, Evan, that she wasn't intimidated to say hi to me like she was to you. So that means that you should, you got to
Me
find.
and Evan have, we've talked about this, and he's just like, I don't understand, but whatever. It's your fault. I'm like, I know. I'll take full responsibility.
Oh, that's cool. Well, Zoe, thanks for joining us so much. And if you're ever over here in Pennsylvania, please stop by, and I'd love to meet you and actually have a conversation in person someday.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks, guys.
So
Thanks
you
for being
got
on
it.
here.
Ev, you want to wrap us up?
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
The man of many words, Evan Conville. To my right, if you're looking, to my left sitting. We won't go over that all again. We got all confused on that
Yes.
last time. Anyways, so, all right, everybody, this is another great podcast. Thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful week.
See ya. Remember, we're on iTunes and Stitcher, and as always, thanks for being awesome.